Mia had always prided herself on being a loyal employee at Thompson Financial. For 3 years, she arrived early, stayed late, and trusted her boss, Mr. Thompson, when he praised her as the backbone of the team. That's why she didn't question him the day he called her into his glass-walled office, his voice low and urgent. "There's a small discrepancy in the client accounts," he said, sliding a file across the desk. "I need you to adjust these numbers before the audit. Just temporary, we'll fix it later." His smile didn't reach his eyes, but Mia, nervous about losing her job, nodded. She spent the night altering spreadsheets, her hands trembling as she saved the falsified files. A week later, 2 police officers knocked on her apartment door. Her stomach dropped as they asked about embezzlement and fraudulent records. Mr. Thompson, they said, had reported her for stealing client funds. Panic surged. She'd signed those documents. But when Mia called him, desperate, he coldly replied, "I warned you not to make mistakes." That's when she realized he'd set her up. Mia's fear hardened into resolve. She dug through old emails, finding a trail of Mr. Thompson's commands. Delete the backups. Blame the system error. She secretly recorded their next meeting, where he smirked. "Without proof, it's your word against mine." But Mia had proof. She found a hidden folder on the company server, dozens of altered files with his digital signature. Even darker, she discovered a former coworker, Jake, had been fired after similar errors. Mia tracked him down, and he confessed. "Thompson's done this before. He threatens to ruin your career if you talk." The police didn't believe her at first, but Mia worked nights, compiling evidence, timestamps, voice recordings, Jake's testimony. Her lawyer warned, "He'll destroy you if he finds out." The breaking point came when Mr. Thompson cornered her in the parking garage, his breath sharp with whiskey. "Drop this, or I'll make sure you never work again." Mia hid her shaking hands and played meek. But that night, she leaked everything to HR, the police, and a reporter. Chaos erupted. At 10 a.m. the next Monday, officers marched into the office and handcuffed Mr. Thompson mid-meeting. His face purpled as he screamed, "She's lying!" But Mia's evidence was undeniable. News outlets called it a masterclass in corporate fraud. The investigation revealed he'd stolen millions, framing subordinates for years. Mia's name was cleared, but the real victory came when 5 former employees, including Jake, thanked her for giving them the courage to speak up. Mr. Thompson pleaded guilty, sentenced to 8 years. The company offered Mia a promotion, but she declined. Instead, she used her settlement to start a consultancy, teaching others how to document workplace corruption. At her first seminar, a young woman asked, "Weren't you scared?" Mia smiled, terrified. But fear doesn't silence you, it reminds you what's worth fighting for. A year later, Mia spotted Mr. Thompson's face on a news ticker. Disgraced executive denied parole. She closed her laptop, poured a coffee, and got back to work. Her new office walls held framed screenshots of his threatening emails, and a sticky note in her own handwriting. "Trust yourself. Always." Months after Mr. Thompson's sentencing, Mia's consultancy grew faster than she'd imagined. She hired a small team, a sharp lawyer named Priya and a tech expert, Raj, who helped clients gather evidence discreetly. One rainy afternoon, a woman named Lila walked into Mia's office, her hands clutching a folder. "My boss is doing what yours did," she whispered. "But it's worse. He's laundering money through offshore accounts." Lila's voice shook as she handed Mia a USB drive. "I tried to quit, but he threatened my family." Mia recognized the fear in Lila's eyes. It mirrored her own years ago. She plugged in the drive, expecting spreadsheets. Instead, she found photos of Lila's boss meeting with familiar faces. A city councilman, a known drug trafficker, and Mr. Thompson's old lawyer. Her blood ran cold. This wasn't just workplace fraud. It was a criminal network. Raj traced the offshore accounts to a shell company named Blue Horizon, linked to properties across the city. Priya warned, "This is dangerous. These people don't play by rules." But Mia couldn't walk away. She coached Lila to plant a hidden camera in her office, capturing a meeting where her boss joked about disposing problem employees. The footage made Mia's hands tremble, but she copied it, along with bank records, onto 3 encrypted drives. The next morning, Mia's office was broken into. Drawers were rifled through, her computer smashed. Only the fake client files were taken. "They're watching us," Raj said, scanning for bugs. Priya urged Mia to go to the police, but Mia hesitated. If they're connected to Thompson's lawyer, who else might be involved? That night, Mia received a call from an unknown number. A distorted voice hissed, "Drop the Blue Horizon case, or Lila's accident won't look accidental." Mia's mind raced. She moved Lila to a safe house, then set a trap. Using a burner phone, she leaked a fake news tip about Blue Horizon's major police raid the next day. By noon, social media buzzed with rumors. Panicked, Lila's boss rushed to his offshore banks branch, right into waiting police cameras. The councilman and trafficker were arrested days later, their texts exposing the whole operation. Reporters dubbed it the Blue Horizon takedown, but Mia stayed quiet, letting Lila take the public credit. A week later, a bouquet arrived at Mia's office. No note, just white lilies. Attached was a newspaper clipping of the arrest, with a handwritten scrawl. "You're still on our radar." Mia tossed the flowers, but kept the note. Priya frowned. "This isn't over, is it?" Mia stared at the sticky note on her desk. "Trust yourself, always." And smiled grimly. "It never is." The anonymous threat gnawed at Mia, but she buried herself in work. 2 new clients came forward. A warehouse worker whose manager was skimming safety funds, and a nurse pressured to falsify patient records. Mia's team helped them quietly, but Priya noticed her glancing at the office door too often. "You're waiting for them to strike back," Priya said. Mia didn't deny it. Then Raj found something. While monitoring dark web chatter, he spotted Blue Horizon's name in a forum. "They're recruiting," he said, showing Mia a post. "Need cleanup crew for loose ends. High payout." The job listing's IP address traced to a cafe near Mia's old office, where Mr. Thompson used to hold client meetings. Mia's gut said to investigate. Disguised in a hoodie, she entered the cafe and ordered coffee. At a corner table, a man in a navy suit tapped a briefcase bearing a small familiar logo, Blue Horizon's crescent moon. Her pulse quickened. She pretended to text, snapping a photo, but the man suddenly stood, staring at her. Mia recognized his cold smirk. He'd been in the courtroom during Mr. Thompson's trial. She fled, ducking into an alley. Her phone buzzed. "Raj." "Mia, get out. That cafe's security feed just went dark." She ran, hearing footsteps behind her. Cutting through a crowded market, she lost the tail but dropped her phone in the chaos. Back at the office, Priya paced. "This is too personal now. They know where you live, work." Mia cut her off. "Then we set a bigger trap." Using Raj's tech, they created a fake online persona, Elena, a disgruntled ex-employee eager to join Blue Horizon. Elena messaged the forum, offering insider info on Mia's consultancy. The plan worked too well. Within hours, Elena received a location, an abandoned warehouse. "Come alone, midnight." Mia insisted on going, but Priya and Raj refused. They rigged the warehouse with hidden cameras and mics, then watched from a van nearby. At midnight, Mia stood in the shadows, heart pounding. A black car arrived. Out stepped the navy-suited man, and behind him, Mr. Thompson's lawyer. "You've caused enough trouble, Mia," the lawyer sneered, "but you'll make useful bait." Men emerged, grabbing her arms, until police sirens blared. Priya had tipped them off anonymously. Chaos erupted. The men fled, but the lawyer froze, hands raised. "You'll never prove anything," he spat at Mia. She smiled, tapping her jacket, a hidden recorder buzzing. "We already did." The next morning, headlines blared. "Corrupt lawyer linked to crime ring arrested." But Mia's relief faded when Raj found a file in the lawyer's briefcase, a list of names, politicians, judges, her landlord. Priya paled. "This goes way higher than we thought." Mia scanned the list, her finger pausing on a name she knew too well, the detective who'd first dismissed her case against Mr. Thompson. "We're not done," Mia said quietly. Somewhere, a clock ticked. The list of names burned in Mia's hands. She stared at the detective's name, Officer Grant. The same man who'd shrugged off her evidence against Mr. Thompson. Priya slammed her laptop shut. "We can't trust anyone, not even the police." Raj hacked into the landlord's emails, finding leaked photos of Mia's apartment. They've been watching us for months, he muttered. That evening, Mia's doorbell rang. Officer Grant stood there, his badge glinting. Heard you've been digging, he said, stepping inside without invitation. Mia's throat tightened as he praised her bravery against Mr. Thompson, his smile oily. But some battles aren't worth fighting. Let's collaborate. He slid a file toward her, a fake case blaming a dead janitor for Blue Horizon's crimes. Mia played along, nodding, while her phone recorded silently in her pocket. After he left, Mia's team found bugs planted under her desk. They're everywhere, Raj hissed. They moved operations to a borrowed storage unit, laptops balanced on cardboard boxes. Lila called, panicking. Her safe house had been vandalized. Mia gave her a burner phone. Change locations, now. Days later, a sleek woman named Clara hired Mia's team. My CEO is stealing wages, she claimed, handing over payroll records. But the numbers felt too clean. Priya spotted a watermark linking the documents to Blue Horizon's shell company. It's a trap, she warned. Mia disagreed. We'll feed them fake evidence first. They gave Clara falsified data about the CEO. Within hours, Mia's storage unit was raided. But the intruders only took the decoy files. They fell for it, Raj cheered. But Mia froze. Clara's stolen payroll records had her consultancy's logo subtly embedded in the margins. They're framing us, she realized. Panicked, Mia rushed to confront Clara, but her office was empty, save for a projector looping security footage of Mia meeting Officer Grant. A sticky note on the screen read, "Who's the criminal now?" Priya traced the footage to a hacked police server. "Grant planted this to discredit you." Mia's hands shook as she deleted the files, but copies already trended online. Reporters camped outside her apartment, shouting, "Did you collude with corrupt cops?" Desperate, Mia leaked Grant's recorded confession to a journalist. The video went viral, clearing her name but exposing Grant's crimes. He was suspended, but the victory felt hollow. That night, Mia found a new note taped to her door. "You're making this fun." Raj discovered the note's paper was legal letterhead, from a judge on the list. "They're toying with us," Priya said. Mia stared at the sticky note on her desk. "Trust yourself, always," now crossed out in red ink. Somewhere a clock ticked louder. The red ink on Mia's mantra haunted her. She tore it down, replacing it with a new note. "Trust no one." But doubts crept in. Had she missed signs in her own team? Priya worked later than usual, deleting browser histories. Raj flinched at sudden noises, his eyes darting to security feeds. Mia watched them silently, torn between suspicion and guilt. A breakthrough came when Mia hacked into Officer Grant's private cloud. A reckless move, but desperation ruled. Buried in his files was a photo of Mr. Thompson's lawyer meeting a gray-haired man at a dockside warehouse. Mia zoomed in. The man wore a lapel pin shaped like Blue Horizon's crescent moon. She reverse-searched the image and froze. The man was the state's former governor, Richard Vane, retired after a charity scandal. Before she could tell the team, Priya vanished. No calls, no texts. Her apartment was emptied, laptops gone. Raj swore he didn't know, but Mia noticed sweat on his brow. "We need to leave town," he urged. Mia refused. "Running makes us look guilty." That night, a courier delivered a package to the storage unit, a blood-stained scarf Priya always wore. Inside was a USB drive containing a video. Priya, tied to a chair in a dim room, a voice off-screen snarling, "Bring the governor's files, alone, or she's dead." Mia's hands shook. The video's metadata pointed to an old factory outside the city. Raj begged her not to go. "It's a trap," Mia nodded, but packed a bag, flash drives, a burner phone, pepper spray. She left Raj a note. "If I'm not back by dawn, leak everything." The factory loomed in the rain. Mia stepped inside, phone flashlight cutting through dust. "I'm here," she shouted. A laugh echoed. From the shadows stepped Richard Vane, flanked by two men. "You're softer than I expected," he sneered. Mia demanded Priya's release. Vane snapped his fingers. Priya was shoved forward, bruised but alive. "The files," Vane growled. Mia tossed a decoy drive. As Vane's men plugged it in, Mia lunged, spraying pepper gas. Chaos erupted. Priya kicked a guard's knee, grabbing his gun. They ran, bullets pinging metal beams. Outside, Raj waited in a stolen van, tires screeching. Go, Mia screamed. Back at the storage unit, Priya collapsed. I'm sorry, they took me after I found Vane's tax records. Mia hugged her, relief short-lived. Raj handed Mia a news alert. Governor Vane dead in apparent suicide. The article featured a photo of Vane's office. His computer screen showed the decoy files Mia had planted. They're covering tracks, Priya whispered. Mia checked the real files. Vane's offshore accounts led to a charity named New Dawn. Its director? The detective who'd first helped her against Mr. Thompson. Mia's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Good game, but the board's bigger. Attached was a world map, locations marked with crescent moons. Raj stared. This is global. Mia deleted the message. Then we go bigger too. The global map haunted Mia's dreams, crescent moons glowing over cities she'd never visited. She gathered her team in the storage unit, rain pounding the roof. We start with New Dawn, she said, circling the charity's address. Priya frowned. It's a fortress. Cameras everywhere. Raj hacked into their donor list, finding a gala that night. Perfect. Rich people love confessing over champagne. Mia disguised herself as a caterer, slipping into the event with a tray of hors d'oeuvres. The ballroom glittered with politicians and CEOs. She froze. Across the room stood the detective from her early case, now in a tailored tuxedo, laughing with New Dawn's director. Her tray shook as she edged closer, planting a listening device under their table. A hand grabbed her wrist. You're not staff, a security guard growled. Mia dropped the tray, shattering glasses. Chaos erupted. She fled to the kitchen, dodging guards, and hid in a pantry. Her earpiece crackled. Raj. The device is live. They're talking about a shipment leaving the docks tonight. Mia sneaked out, blending into the crowd. Outside, Priya waited in a getaway car. The docks, now. They raced through the rain, arriving as cargo containers were loaded onto a ship. Mia's phone buzzed. An anonymous tip. Check container 17. They pried it open. Inside were crates labeled medical supplies. Priya cracked one open, stacked cash, guns, and hard drives. This is bigger than Blue Horizon, she whispered. Mia photographed everything, but headlights suddenly swept the dock. Go, Raj yelled. They sped off, bullets pinging their bumper. Back at the unit, Mia uploaded the photos to a secure cloud. But the files corrupted instantly. They're tracking us, Raj yelled, smashing his keyboard. A message flashed on Mia's screen. Cute try. But you're still one step behind. The next morning, news showed the ship had sank mysteriously offshore. Mia's photos were gone, all except one blurry shot of the detective handing a briefcase to a man in a hoodie. Zooming in, Mia gasped. The hoodie bore Raj's favorite band logo. She confronted him, voice shaking. Explain, Raj paled. They threatened my sister. I only gave them old data. Priya slapped him. You idiot, Mia stepped between them, fists clenched. Fix this, now. Raj traced the briefcase to a locker downtown. Inside was a phone with a single contact. Alliance, Mia called. A woman answered, her accent French. We've been watching you, Mia. Want real help? Meet me. Priya begged her not to go. But Mia drove to the address, a dusty bookstore. The bell jingled. Behind the counter stood a woman with a crescent moon tattoo. You're not the only one they betrayed, she said, sliding Mia a file. Inside were names Mia recognized. Global leaders, her old landlord, and Mr. Thompson's parole officer. Join us, the woman said, or end up like your governor. Mia's phone buzzed. Raj. The police are raiding the unit, she fled, the file tucked under her arm. As sirens wailed, she realized. There are no allies, only survivors. Mia sped away from the bookstore, the Frenchwoman's file burning a hole in her passenger seat. Sirens faded behind her, but her hands still gripped the wheel like a lifeline. She pulled into an abandoned parking garage, dialing Priya. No answer. Raj's number rang endlessly. They're gone, she realized, chest tight. The police raid had wiped her team out. The file's contents spilled across her dashboard, photos, bank codes, and a list of Alliance safe houses. One address glowed red, a seaside villa in Marseille. Mia hesitated, then texted the Frenchwoman's burner number. Why help me? The reply was instant. They killed my brother. You're my revenge. Days later, Mia landed in France. disguised in a black wig and sunglasses. The villa stood atop a cliff, waves crashing below. A guard frisked her at the gate, confiscating her phone. Inside, the Frenchwoman, Elise, poured wine. To mutual enemies, she toasted. But Mia noticed the tremor in her hand. Elise revealed footage of a secret meeting. Global leaders in a bunker, their faces lit by screens flashing the crescent moon. They're planning a blackout, Elise said. Blame hackers, seize control. You stop it, you expose them all. Mia's pulse raced. How? Elise slid her a keycard. Their server farm is beneath this villa. At midnight, Mia descended into the basement, keycard clutched in shaking fingers. The server room hummed, walls lined with blinking drives. She plugged in Elise's USB, uploading a virus to scramble the data. But the screen flickered. Access denied. Security alert. Footsteps echoed. Mia hid behind a server rack as guards stormed in. Elise's voice rang out cold and clear. Find her. Betrayal slithered down Mia's spine, the wine, the tremor. She sold me out. Mia crawled through a ventilation shaft, the virus still in hand. The shaft opened into a boathouse. She jumped into a speedboat. Ignition key taped under the helm, Elise's last test. The engine roared to life as guards fired from the cliff. Back in the city, Mia hacked into a cafe's Wi-Fi. The virus had worked, sort of. Fragments of the blackout plan leaked online, power grids, timestamps, and a name Mia recognized. Her landlord. He owned the building housing the city's main electrical hub. She called the only number she remembered by heart. Priya's mom. They have her, the woman wept. They said if you don't stop, they'll... A gunshot crackled. The line died. Mia's scream echoed through the cafe. Customers stared. She ran, tears blurring the streets. A black sedan tailed her. She ducked into a metro station, losing them in the rush hour crowd. Under flickering lights, Mia opened Elise's file. Tucked between pages was a photo of Mr. Thompson, alive, free, sipping coffee in front of her old boutique. Scrawled on the back, game over. But Mia's phone buzzed, a notification. The virus had finally breached the Alliance's servers. Millions of files flooded the dark web. News alerts exploded. Global corruption network exposed. In the chaos, Mia boarded a train. Destination unknown. As fields blurred past, she opened a new note on her phone. Trust no one. Trust nothing. Keep going. The screen flickered. A message popped up. Nice work, but we're still watching. A friend. Mia deleted it, but smiled faintly. For the first time, she held the clock. The train rattled through the countryside, but Mia's mind raced faster. The friend's message gnawed at her. Was it a threat or a lifeline? She hacked into a passenger's phone, searching news sites. Headlines blared, global blackout averted, but smaller text noted, power grid CEO missing, her landlord. Mia knew he'd be silenced next. At the next stop, she bought a burner phone and called the only contact she dared, Raj's sister, Annika. They took Raj too, Annika sobbed. They said if I talk, Mia interrupted. Meet me in Geneva. I'll protect you. She booked a ticket, praying it wasn't a trap. Geneva's streets were icy. Annika waited at a cafe, eyes darting. They're using a tech firm here to rebuild their servers, she whispered, handing Mia a keycard. Raj hid this in my teddy bear. The logo on the card froze Mia's breath. Thompson Innovations. Mr. Thompson's new company occupied a glass tower downtown. Mia bluffed her way inside as a janitor, mop bucket hiding her tools. The server room was on the 30th floor. Elevator doors opened. Mr. Thompson stood there, smirking. Miss me? Mia swung her mop handle, cracking his knee. He crumpled, screaming, as she fled to the stairs. The server room buzzed with familiar crescent moon symbols. Mia uploaded Raj's virus, but screens flashed. Welcome back, Mia. A video feed showed Priya, gagged, in a cement room. A voice boomed. Stop, or she dies now. Mia froze. The voice was Elise's. You're alive, Mia hissed. Elise stepped into frame, face bruised. They caught me after Marseille. Forced me to lure you. Behind her, a shadow moved. Priya's hand signing distract them. Mia feigned defeat. I'll surrender. Just let her go. As guards stormed the server room, Mia triggered the virus. Lights died. Alarms wailed. In the chaos, Priya's feed glitched. She'd escaped her binds. Mia sprinted to the exit. But Mr. Thompson blocked her, gun trembling. "You ruined everything," a shot rang out. Mia flinched, but Thompson fell, blood blooming on his shirt. Elise stood behind him, smoke curling from her gun. "For my brother," she spat. Priya emerged, limping but alive. "Let's end this." Together, they flooded the servers with every scrap of evidence. Thompson's schemes, the alliances list, even the governor's suicide. The files spread like wildfire. Outside, news vans swarmed. Reporters shouted questions, but Mia slipped away. Annika waited at the station. "Raj is safe," she said. They released him when the news broke. Mia boarded another train, exhaustion weighing her bones. Her phone buzzed. A message from the friend. "Not bad. Next time, don't miss the backup servers." Attached was a photo, a hidden data bunker under Geneva's lake. Mia deleted it. For now, the world thought the war was won. Let them sleep. Months later, Mia's consultancy reopened. New name, tighter security. Priya handled clients. Raj built unhackable systems. Annika interned, hungry for justice. The world celebrated Mia as a hero, but she kept Elise's gun in her desk, a reminder. One rainy night, a client arrived, a young senator. "My opponent's polls are rigged," he said. Mia scanned his files. The rigging software bore a tiny crescent moon. She smiled. "We'll need a bigger virus." The senator left. Mia opened her laptop, typing. Trust no one, but never stop. Somewhere, a clock ticked.